My salmon, watercress and avocado salad is a bit of a house special in Nigella Lawson. I make it so often I could probably make it in my sleep. And I like to use wild Alaskan sockeye salmon, which naturally has this vivid hue. And although it's in a frying pan, I poach it. I want some spring onion to bring a bit of flavour to the poaching liquid. And some black peppercorns. The reason I use a frying pan is that you don't need much liquid, which means it comes to a bubble faster and it cools faster, so the flesh stays tender and doesn't overcook. I want the sprightliness and brightness of some lime. And I think you need to be bold with the salt. I have devised the perfect poaching procedure for this. I let the pan come to a bubble, and once it does bubble, I turn off the heat, I turn the fish over, and I let them stand in the pan for 7 minutes. Works for me every time. So it's bubbling now. I do not want it to come to a rollicking boil. Turn off the heat and flip these over. They do look a bit raw on the top, but they will cook so gently as they stand in the water. The texture will be soft and luxurious. I like a bit of crunch in the salad, so I add pumpkin seeds. Now, I love pumpkin seeds anywhere and anyhow, but toasted, they really are wonderful. It enhances their flavour and it brings out their nuttiness and smokiness. And if I wait patiently, I'll start hearing them pop. Patiently being the key word. Oh, they're going. The noise reminds me of those little caps that my brother had when we were little, and you flicked them like that, picked at them, and they would pop like the pumpkin seeds. I don't want them scorched, obviously, but I do want them to brown a little, or rather go bronze among the green. I'm going to give myself the pleasure of a few more pops, and then I'm going to shake them out into a pan to cool. Beautiful. The salmon's had its time. I'm going to peel away the skin, although I love skin if fish is fried or grilled, not when it's poached. Perfect. And they can sit on the plate to get cool. Will I get on with my salad? I want a tangle of watercress, bit of arranging, and a few drops of raw unfiltered apple cider vinegar. And I love the fierce pepperiness of watercress. It's the perfect foil to the smoothness of the avocado, and indeed the salmon. I prefer just to spoon out curls of avocado rather than have it sliced rigidly. Getting rather camouflaged in there. Now the salmon. See, this is how I like to eat salmon. Still a bit bright coral within. Silky, the texture. I always go for cold-pressed rapeseed oil here. Again, it's got a pepperiness like the watercress, although extra virgin olive oil would not be a bad choice. The crunch of pumpkin seeds. This is the work of mere moments. Such a relaxing way to cook fish. Getting excited now. Warm spiced cauliflower and chickpea salad is one of my favourite simple suppers. It relies on those two basic ingredients, but transforms them. I want the cauliflower in small florets, or as small as the constraints of my patients will allow. I can't take much credit for this transformation because it's all down to the warm spices and the heat of the oven. It's just a bit of regular olive oil, and now the spices. Just a little cinnamon to evoke the sweetness of a balmy night in Morocco. And I'm going to be a bit heavier-handed with the cumin, a spice that's irresistible to me. I want to disperse the spices in the oil to stop them clumping in the oven later. And now, in these go. The oil is just enough to help the spices stick to the cauliflower and to stop the cauliflower from drying out in the oven. Roast cauliflower is a glorious thing. It doesn't hurt either that there's very little washing up involved. Right, this goes into a hot oven, and I mean hot. I don't need to wash this up. I just add the cauliflower's partner in crime, some chickpeas. You can use canned chickpeas too, but the ones in a jar are really lush. And to these, I want the heat of harissa, Moroccan chili paste. I'm dolloping in quite a lot because both the cauliflower and chickpeas can withstand a bit of fierceness. I love the way the tomatoes almost ooze into a dressing in the heat of the oven. The cauliflower has already lost its Victorian pallor, and things are really going to brighten up for it now. Love having an implement in each hand. Makes me feel busy, but in an unchallenging way. And this goes back in just so the cauliflower cooks a little more. The chickpeas are already cooked. And the wonderful thing about the oven's heat is that the cauliflower will soften, but it doesn't get soggy. I'm grabbing a hefty amount of parsley because I don't want it as mere decoration, but as the salad leaf itself. I know there's quite a lot here, not that it's stopped me before, but this is fantastic cold as well. Packed lunch tomorrow. Little salt. and some gorgeous ruby jewels of pomegranate. And a final flourish of parsley. I find this sort of cooking just the perfect way to decompress. And I am going to continue my relaxation program with this. Bitter radicchio, salty blue cheese, sweet chestnuts. This is an essentially wintry salad that I eat very happily all the year round. I just want to tear these ruby leaves into bite-sized pieces. Normally, when I make a salad, I just add a glug of extra virgin olive oil, a spritz of lemon juice, and a sprinkling of sea salt flakes. But this is a special salad, and it deserves a special vinaigrette. And it really deserves star billing in its own right. It's become, in a way, my house dressing. It starts off aromatically and astringently with orange juice, freshly squeezed, and I want 2 teaspoons. And after that, the same amount of lime juice. I'm giving you the measurements because it's actually very helpful to know the ratio. And now I want a teaspoon of grain mustard. And a teaspoon of honey. I'm using a tablespoonful of olive oil. Just ordinary olive oil, not extra virgin. I'm not using extra virgin because I want a teeny drop of toasted sesame oil. It's got such a strong, nutty flavour, it really wouldn't be worth using extra virgin olive oil. Teeny pinch of salt, because remember the blue cheese is salty. And now, a bit of a shake. And before I do anything else, I'm going to dress the salad just as it is. It may not look like a lot of dressing, but the trick is to toss it patiently. Take your time. And in fact, often, when I'm a bit impatient and go too fast, I add too much dressing and end up with an overdressed salad. Time for the chestnuts, which I'm very glad to say I buy like this, peeled and vacuum packed. I don't cook them myself and peel them very painfully, like my mother always did, and very bad-temperedly too. Just crumble them in. Such an underused ingredient. This salad is also very good with walnuts in place of them. But nothing can substitute for the blue cheese. It doesn't really matter what blue cheese you use, as long as it's sharp and crumbly rather than too creamy. This is gorgonzola, a real treat. And normally, I wouldn't condone putting cheese like this in the fridge, but it has to be cold or I wouldn't be able to crumble it. Right, I'm going to toss this together again. So, the little bits of chestnut and the nuggets of blue cheese are dispersed throughout the salad. I make this an awful lot when I have people over, but I have to say, as a solo treat, it is unparalleled.
I am going to make the most incredible Terry the Tuna niçoise salad, all right? It's going to taste decent. Now this is a proper bit of tuna, and that is how it should be. Really, really great source of protein, and trust me, that is lean. Little bit of olive oil, give it a little slap, give it a little rub it. Little bit of salt and pepper. If you like any other spices, you can chuck them on there. Get your terry de tuna, and you're gonna slap it in a smoking hot pan. Here we go, bosh! Flip your tuna steak. Terry de tuna, he's cooked to perfection. We're going to take him out now and rest him on a chopping board. You don't want to overcook it. You want to keep a nice little pink bit through the middle. We're now going to make the salad. Grab yourself a big bowl, fresh spinach, handful of lentils, sun-dried tomatoes. Get your nuts in, handful of walnuts, green beans, straight in the bowl. A little bit of salt and pepper, splash of sherry vinegar, give it a good old mix up, get right in there. Grab yourself a nice big serving plate. Look at that. Who said salads had to be boring, eh? Not me. Right, terry de tuna, I'm coming for you. So you want to slice it up however you like. I'm going to do it in 3 cheeky little sections and pile it up on top of my salad. Look at that. That is restaurant standard food right there, look. Okay, now the final thing we're going to add, I've boiled a couple of eggs, and the secret to a good boiled egg is put it in cold water, bring it to the boil for 10 minutes on the nose, no more, no less, and I guarantee hard on the outside, runny in the middle. If my predictions are right, this should be nice and gooey when I cut through. Look at that. That is how you do it, and that is it. That's how I stay lean, and that's going to make you feel the nuts. Let's get cooking. First things first is the lentils. We've got the chickpeas, another great source of protein, and one of my favourite things of all, a little bit of quinoa straight in the pan. Give it a little mix, and next thing you're going to do is add the vegetable stock. So straight in there. We're now going to add my favourite vegetable of all, the little green midget trees.
Eat your greens, and broccoli is the business. You know what I mean, those little midget trees. Tasty raw or cooked, its antioxidants can lower cholesterol and can help fight off disease. It's packed with fibre and high in vitamin C, a good booster for your immune system. So what's not to love?
Next up, you want the juice of half an orange. Give it a good old squeeze. You want a little splash of apple cider vinegar. This is already starting to smell incredible. Next up is grilled avocado. Watch your fingers, twist out, that's how you do it. Cut it into nice, thick wedges, and we're going to place that on top of the griddle pan. If you haven't had grilled avocado, you're going to absolutely love it.
It'll add a smoking charred flavour. Lovely.
We ain't even finished yet. I mean, look at that. All them colours. It's now time for the special ingredient, the best part of all. This is the harissa paste. It tastes amazing. Give it a nice old drizzle. This salad's got it all going on. You've got the soft, the crunchy, the salty, the sweet. That is my superfood harissa bowl, and you're going to love it.